One thing that we have not done, and obviously I know that a circulation is going to be a huge thing. We have other storms off to the south, and just for a brief few seconds, want to give our friends at the lake some 2-minute attention here. Between Osage Beach and Camdenton, we have a strong thunderstorm that has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning that expires in 3 minutes here for Camden County. For Miller County, that goes until 6:30. Hail and strong winds are going to be your primary threat with that. Also, northeastern Miller County, just to the east of Eldon, between Highway 54 and Missouri State Highway 52 there. Another strong thunderstorm that's producing some hail. So again, want to let everyone know down at the lake, we have not forgotten about you, but obviously our main concern is going to be with the tornado warning across northern Osage, northern Gasconade, central and southern Montgomery County, and also back into parts of Callaway County here as well. There we go. Thanks a lot, Nick. And one more time, let's do a storm track on it, and I'll take a break and let someone else talk here. Actually, I think we have a new picture, but we'll show that picture after we put a new storm track on. And again, moving off to the east, 35, 40 miles per hour. And again, Michelle stated this earlier, once it goes into Warren County, that's going to be moving off into the St. Louis area. Portland, 605, Herman, 625. If you live in Herman, this storm is going to go right toward you. So you need to go ahead and think about your severe weather safety plan. Make sure you go ahead and use it. And if you're on your way home from work, or you know of people that are on their way home from work tonight that will come across Missouri Highway 19 between Montgomery City and Herman, pass along the message, hey, you're going to encounter hail, strong winds, and possible rotation here as this storm moves off to the east. So that's kind of what we have going on. Michelle has showed a really cool picture, and we also have one at the news desk with Jenny Meckles. So.
Well, I'll have Jenny show it, and then I'll come over and I'll show this one as well.
Well, we've got another picture of more hail from our wonderful viewers. This one came from Roxanne Whitworth. She said that this was a picture of hail in Ashland, and she just posted on our wall about 10 minutes ago. Look how big that hail is.
Mm-hmm. How far does that? How far does that drop? 40, 50,000 feet sometimes.
The hail?
The hailstones?
Oh yeah, it goes all the way up to the top of the cloud, and if we can go ahead and chat here for a little bit so you can get this centered up on the picture. I have one of our viewers, Melinda, sent this in, and she said that this is the cloud that passed over California. We're going to go ahead and move that on out and push this one in as we continue to kind of talk about these storms. Now, it was passing through California, and we were definitely talking about lots of rotation going on, and this is definitely one of the funnel clouds that I would imagine that they actually saw.
That is pretty scary.
Passing out over California. So Melinda, thank you so much for emailing this to me. I love my weather pictures, and this one is pretty good.
Right, and keep them coming. Keep sending us your pictures. You can put them on our Facebook page. You can email them to us at shareit@komu.com. Is that correct?
Exactly, and you could also tweet them to us. We are on Twitter all the time, and we're constantly looking at those pictures, so definitely wanted to kind of show this off. So Melinda, thank you very, very much for sending me this picture.
That would make sense, because right before I came out here, I had heard that there was some type of law enforcement had spotted a funnel cloud near McGurk, which is right near the Cole-Montauk County line. So if that happened somewhere near California, Missouri, then that would all add up.
And that, yes, definitely the case. Still seeing pretty nice sized hail associated with this, and love the picture of almost tennis ball sized hail. And you know, if we can actually, I think we're getting ready to set up here live Doppler 8 first alert radar in 3D. We'll go ahead and take that here in just a bit, but when you have storms that are building up very high into the sky, as we have been seeing over, the past hour and a half, 2 hours here, the higher that cloud goes, the stronger the system, the stronger the rotating updrafts and downdrafts are going to be within that particular storm cloud. Those tops are sitting right now at 42,000 feet. That's fairly high. We have also seen some that are a little bit lower than that. Usually we see them anywhere between 40 and 50,000 feet, and in some locations we've even seen them as high as 60,000 feet, and those are the really bad ones. But 42,000 feet still going to do quite a bit of damage out there, especially with that rotation going on within those clouds. in that cumulonimbus cloud that we do have and see in these supercells. And as you kind of spin around the viewing area, you'll notice they're very distinct, discrete cells. These are called supercells, and they definitely have the power to do some major damage out there. And as we continue to scan here on Live Doppler 8 First Alert Radar in 3D, there's the cell that is getting ready to push on into both Montgomery and Gasconade counties here, right along that border line. And you can see that has pretty much the highest tops with this system. Also the cell down just getting ready to move to the northeast of the Rolla area right along I-44, and then one a little bit further back into Callaway County. You can see this guy over here, not as big, but still packing the punch, and that is the one that we continue to see that tornado warning associated for. So if we can kind of go ahead and reset things, send it back to Live Doppler 8 First Alert Radar. We are seeing these truck right along. They were over in the Sedalia area, and that got prompted around 4:30, I believe, is when we got started here on air, and they are quickly exiting the viewing area, which is a very, very good thing. We don't like to see these storms sit around for this long, but because we have seen a very strong rotation centered with this particular cell, and you can kind of see that right down here in the southwestern corner of that cell. And like Eric said, the northeastern corner, you are going to get the hail, and then the southwestern corner, that's where we're going to see that tornadic rotation. And this was one of the cells that ended up splitting as it got ready to push into southern sections of Boone County. That one cell going off further to the north and quickly dissipating rather fast out there, and then the one to the south, obviously that's the one that begun with the rotation, and we definitely saw that on all the sky cams that we were able to bring to you. The Fulton sky cam, well, it's probably pouring down rain and you won't be able to actually see too much of that, but we are continuing with the tornado warnings, and that will go until 6:30, I do believe, for the 4 remaining counties. So that would include the northern section of Osage County, and that would be mainly Chamois. You guys need to be in a safe place right now. Mocaine under the gun currently. That's where we are seeing that little bit of rotation going on, and as that continues to track further east, Morrison, Gasconade, Rhineland, Herman, and then areas further to the north like Fulton right now getting hit pretty hard with some heavy hail and very large hail. New Florence and Montgomery City will eventually be impacted by the large hail associated with that storm as well.
Okay, Michelle, I want to bring everyone up to date here on some reports from storm spotters and the folks over at the National Weather Service. Let's see, and I have 3 of them here. So there was a report of a funnel cloud 5 miles northwest of Chamois, and that's about 10 miles or so southeast of Fulton, and that's moving east at 40 miles per hour. So that was at 6:03, so about a minute or so ago. So again, moving east at 40, right around Chamois. There was a funnel cloud reported 3 miles north of Mocaine. That was at 6:02. And now, one of the latest reports here is coming from Portland, which is going to be in southern Callaway County. And there were a few trained weather spotters reporting 2 funnel clouds with very strong rotation. And again, that it was at 6:02, moving east at 40. So we're talking in this general vicinity here where we're putting on our storm track, everything moving east at 40 and affecting now 16,000 people. So we apologize if you are not one of these 16, but 16,000 people do need to know this information. Chamois at 6:10, Herman by 6:18, so you need to go to your safe shelter here in about, well now, but it will be on your doorstep in about, what, 10, 15 minutes? And then finally moving on into Warrenton and eventually Wright City here. So if you have family that live in central or western Warren County, you might want to pick up the phone and let them know, hey, this is what's coming. But chances are they probably know. Warrenton and again, Wright City through 5:30 or 6:30 and 6:45. We have a picture here from a viewer. We'll send it over to the news desk. More ice cubes.
More hail. Yes, this comes from Ed Bell. He said that this is coming from Ashland near Route Y.
Okay.
And that's the area. It was just posted just a few minutes ago. So thank you, Ed, for sharing your picture. I mean, looking like that might be his child's hands there. Those aren't adult hands holding that hail, but to give you an idea of how big that is. But still,
right.
look how big those are.
Very interesting. And you know, I say, in fact, I explained this to my meteorology students here earlier this morning when talking about hail. If you take that hailstone and you slice it open, you'll notice that there's little layers around the central part of that hailstone, almost like what happens if you cut open an onion, okay? And you can peel it back, okay? Jim Reek is listening up closely here because I believe
it was on
weather
school the other night, and I got it right.
It's going to be a weather school question?
It was weather school.
Right.
No, it was 2-3 nights ago, and I got it right.
He's studying up.
There were layers.
Layers.
And it shows, you know, how far up in the clouds it went.
Exactly. So a neat little project here. You can take one of those hailstones, slice it in two, and count how many times that ice cube got thrown up into the sky.
Really?
You're an expert on this.
So what
now.
would normal, 10 rings, 20 rings, 4 rings?
No. If you're talking 20, that's like soccer ball-sized hail.
Oh, okay. So maybe 1 or 2
Here
rings.
you led us to believe you were an expert.
Okay. I just said I got weather school correct.
However, and I'm just full of interesting factoids about hail. Largest hailstone ever, Aurora, Nebraska.
Really?
Back in 2004, I believe. I'll have to double check. It was either 2004 or 2007. Aurora, Nebraska. It was in early June. Basketball-sized hail. Largest hailstone ever.
And didn't we get a hailstone larger though in Coffeyville? I think that broke the record last year.
And that was in 1977.
Or it
And
was?
at one
Okay.
point, that was
Okay,
the
so that was
largest
the
hail.
old record holder.
Yeah, that
Okay,
was the old
okay.
record holder. Basketball-sized hail. And I can only imagine 25, 30 rings of ice around that central core there. I would imagine with tennis ball-sized hail and the hail that we picked up today, probably at least 3, maybe 4. What do you say, Michelle? 3 or 4 different
At least,
rings
yes.
around
Nice
the
size
central
rings,
core?
oh yeah.
Was this 24 hours ago? Did you expect this to happen?
Yeah, I'd say so. Michelle, wouldn't you?
I was definitely anticipating some sort of severe weather. I didn't realize that it was going to be of this magnitude, I think.
Right, with all the hail and everything.
Yes.
But it's a very similar event when you compare to what happened here on Tuesday. Now, on Tuesday, all of that was northeast of here. It was Pike County, Louisiana, Clarksville, Bowling Green. And so everything kind of started off to the west this afternoon and southwest. And so that's why we're starting to see a little bit more of the activity, but very, very similar to what happened on Tuesday.
That was the night the baseball game was called off in St. Louis because of tornado sirens there in St. Louis, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. What we have here is it's called our velocity image, and it will actually show rotation. And so red is going to represent winds that are going to be moving away from the radar, whereas green is going to represent winds that are moving toward the radar. And if you look at it in a scientific type of 3D perspective here, the rotation associated with this is between Portland and Chamois. And so we do have rotation that is showing up here, and it's going to follow right along the Missouri River. And really, the fact that there is a river there doesn't have any effect of which way it's traveling. It just happens to be forming, or it happens to be moving pretty much west to east, and it started to move right along the Missouri River Valley there. So, but it will be moving on into Rhineland here, and Morrison, and across parts of Herman coming up here in the next 15, 20 minutes or so. You guys have a new picture to show us over there?
We sure do. That scientific term you gave us, SLC, scary looking clouds.
Yep.
Somebody just sent this in. This is Faith Ann Martin sent this in as she was driving through Claysville.
Oh,
South of Ashland.
Claysville General Store is down there.
I think is this what we were picking up on the sky cams, I believe?
I believe
Yes.
so. I believe so. There's a nice little inflow on the right. You can kind of make out a little lowering of the cloud. Everything is kind of tilted. The air is rushing into the storm there, so that's its food supply.
Right here.
Right, exactly, right
And that
right
is
there.
the warm, moist air getting fed into the storm. Because
Yeah.
obviously cold air would kill it, so that's the nice warm air just getting fed right up into the storm. And you can see it is a scary looking cloud, that's for sure.
And again, that was
SLC.
Faith Ann Martin. She sent that in north of Claysville. Excuse me, I said in Claysville earlier.
Is there any reason to believe this is not going to happen again tomorrow and Sunday?
Yes,
That's strong
yes.
rotation.
Everything that is associated with this
even know what all that
is going to move off to the east and northeast rapidly.
Well, that's good.
So tomorrow, it's going to be, for the most, in theory, it'll be pretty much a dry day. We'll have a few spotty showers around, but a severe weather outbreak tomorrow, no, it's not going to happen. So at least you'll have one relatively nice, calm day. And then again on Sunday as well. Sunday we have another heavy rainfall threat, but our chances for severe weather after today go down dramatically. Then we have to turn our attention toward flash flooding, and that's going to be a huge problem, I think, especially for Sunday and also into Monday. But our severe weather threat weakens dramatically here. Michelle, did you have a picture to show? Aha.
Yes, I do. We have a much better view here of the velocities that Eric was discussing with you, and this definitely gives you an idea. We were talking, the red colors are moving away from the radar, so the St. Louis radar's off this way, so the winds are moving that way, and then you have the green moving towards the radar, so that's coming at the radar over here in the St. Louis area. And this is where we have that rotation, that counterclockwise rotation going on. And that is actually right over the top of Chamois right now currently. So if you do live in Chamois, you probably have some sort of funnel cloud or a wall cloud sitting over the top of you, which is why it is imperative that you get down in your basement immediately if you have not already done so. I would imagine, since we've been on here for the past hour and a half, 2 hours, you've had plenty of lead time to realize that this is a very dangerous situation and it's very serious, and you need to get down into a storm shelter of some sort. If you didn't have a basement to go to, definitely needed to get somewhere away from the windows, an interior room in your home. If you lived in a mobile home, you've had plenty of a time to evacuate, and hopefully we are going to keep everybody safe and sound, and everybody was able to do so.
One other thing here, also, Michelle, I just chatted with a senior forecaster at the Weather Service in St. Louis, and he agrees with what you just showed here. Rotation is starting to intensify and improve over southern Callaway County. And actually, on live Doppler rate first alert radar, there's a solid hook. And you've heard us talk a little bit about the hook echo. Looks like a fishing hook. And where we have the hook is going to be where we're going to have rotation, which is just where Michelle showed us here on the image, right between Stedman and Portland. And that's going to be southeast Callaway County. And that continues to move off to the east. There has been no change in path with this storm as it moves off to the east. So Herman, you're under the gun. If you live in Rhineland or in Herman, you need to start seeking shelter and be prepared for a possible tornado to come into your area. And again, so now we're starting to move our focus off to the east here a little bit. But Rhineland, southern Montgomery County, into Herman, you need to be prepared. Also a large hail threat for Montgomery City as well. If you live in Montgomery City or High Hill, Jonesburg, Danville, all those are locations right along I-70. You're going to have the hail. It's southern Montgomery County that you're going to have to watch out for the real threat of a storm that's going to start to rotate, Michelle.
And speaking of hail, Eric, I would definitely want to show you at home this picture sent in by Crystal Gately of Ashland. Take a look at this top one. That's the little ruler right there. It's 2 inches in size. That's some of that very large hail that we were talking about, and that was just over the Ashland area about 30 minutes ago. And you could also see this row of about 1 inch sized hail down at the bottom, and there's quite a bit of that. I bet it looked like there's a little snowfall going on outside with the amount of hail that was probably falling with some of these storm cells. But definitely want to thank Crystal for sending that picture in to us from Ashland.
And also, if you live in Herman, if you live in southern Callaway County, Stedman, Portland, and if it's safe, give us a phone call. Let us know what's going on, because this is a telltale sign that we have circulation. And this is about ready to move on into southwestern, the extreme southwestern Missouri river bottoms of Montgomery County. Starkenburg, Egbert, Big Spring. I believe Rhineland is down across.
Right. Rhineland got moved. Rhineland was the town that was down in the river bottom, just kept flooding, and then finally, I did a story about this about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Finally, FEMA got tired of paying damages, trying to fix houses, and so they just paid for everyone to move up on the hillside where, where it could not be flooded anymore. That was a smart decision.
Yeah,
and so Rhineland is no longer really right there in the river bottom. It's up on the hillside.
Okay, just a little north.
But it's still there.
Right, and so again, the southern Montgomery County under the gun, rotation, very strong rotation there, and we'll have to watch that here as we get into the next half an hour or so. But again, still Herman, if you live in the Herman area, you need to be prepared for this storm to go on into your area and could produce some rotation here. Want to pass along another storm report here from the folks over at St. Louis. Very strong rotation, again, associated with the storm across southwestern Montgomery County. This storm will produce a tornado at any time, just 15 miles west of Herman, and it's moving east at 45. So let's put a new storm track on that guy. It's moving really right along Missouri's Highway 94, and we'll be on into Herman here momentarily. 6:21. So Herman, your time is running up here, and finally it moves on into New Melly at 6:56, and Cottleville well off to our east over into St. Charles County here by 7:12. So again, affecting close to 30,000 people here. So that's what why we're on the air, why you will not have local news tonight here, but we're trying to help people out here, at least 33,000 people, as the storm races off to the east. Obviously, hail is going to be a big threat. Montgomery City, Danville, Jonesburg, High Hill, Martinsburg, Wellsville. That's mile marker 175 there on I-70. So right at State Highway 19, experiencing quite a bit of hail right now, and that will continue to race off to the east also. Another very suspicious storm that we'll have to watch here would also be across southern Osage County. Michelle, I don't know if you can pull up the velocity. Yes.
If I could, I just spoke with Weather Service about that. They have some broad rotation with that. They're keeping an eye on it right now, but for the time being, that part of the storm in southwestern Osage County, they're more concerned about hail right now, but they are picking up broad rotation, so we're keeping an eye on that area too. But right now, the main tornado threat is still just about to enter Herman within the next few minutes.
Right, yeah, right around Highway 94 there.
And I am picking up just a little bit of rotation here on the velocity map, moving out of St. Elizabeth, and that'll be moving into Meda, Argyle, Freeburg, and eventually the St. Thomas area, Westphalia, and then the northern sections of Osage County headed towards Lynn.
We also have some sizable hail with that, at least hail that's going to be about an inch, inch and a half, just shy of the 2-inch mark. So a lot of significant property damage out here with a lot of these storms as they continue to produce heavy amounts of hail. So
that last picture we had was a 2-inch size hailstone. I mean, that's going to crack a car windshield for sure, I would think.
It easily could, and especially with the reports that we were getting of tennis ball size hail, that's going to do a lot of damage. And that's why it's always so important when we get on TV, forewarn you, let you know what's going on, that you're well aware that this is a dangerous situation out there, because you don't want to be caught up in a storm like this.
Right to the east of St. Thomas, that's Missouri Highway 133, just north of Meda, teacup-sized hail. Actually, that just updated, Nick. What's that red core look like? I would imagine that's probably close to baseball-sized hail. Right on top of Missouri Highway 133, that little red, is it still reporting? Teacup. Yeah, so baseball-sized hail, teacup-sized hail, pretty much the same. But large hail right around Babtown along Highway 133 there. So, and that's Osage County, I believe. So impressive stuff there. Haven't got too many more reports of damage here as we move in across southern Montgomery County, but this entire storm is going to continue to intensify really as we move over into the St. Louis area. One of our interns actually that just went home, he lives in Sedalia, he's also helping us track these storms online, Jordan Bell, and he had reported, or he got a report from the National Weather Service here, 3-inch size hail and strong rotation out of the cell across Osage County. So impressive stuff down there. We'll have to watch that one very closely as it moves on into the Freeburg area also.
That's going to damage roofs too.
Yeah, yes, yes. Not just your cars,
not just cars.
And windows, but yeah, it's going to
bring the pets in.
Yes,
yes.
definitely.
Bring Fluffy in.
And you know something else that's going on though with these storms, I mean, they're moving quickly, but they're producing a lot of heavy rainfall. And we were speaking, you know, to Weather Service and looking at the HPC's website, 7 to 10 inches of rain over the next couple of days. That is a lot of rainfall that is expected here. So flash flooding is going to be a major issue.
And we have a note here. The National Weather Service has issued a flood warning for the entire length of the state along the Mississippi River. And so drivers are urged to avoid the low roadways and bridges in case they're covered in water. So be careful out there when you're driving too.
Right. One other thing, had a chance to also get a little nerdy, did some scientific research here. And the shear, and that's just a fancy word for winds that like to churn with increasing height. That's starting to increase a little bit here across eastern Missouri. That's going up. All of the different severe weather indices that we would look at that just measure how unstable the atmosphere is, those are really starting to get impressive here. And as these storms continue to race off to the east, we're going to have to watch the St. Louis area rather closely. And I'll just say this, if you have friends or relatives that live in or around the St. Louis area, in St. Louis, Wentzville, St. Peters, St. Charles, Union, Michelle's whole family, my whole family. We'll have to start texting people here in a minute. These storms are going to continue to increase in size and could become a little bit more strong, certainly than what they are right now. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem here for the St. Louis area. Yeah, certainly enough. Lincoln, Warren, Franklin counties all under tornado warnings here. So it would be really, and I've been doing this for close to 8 years, and in the past severe weather events that shape up like this, any storm that is able to tap into a more favorable environment for severe weather, like is in place over St. Louis, these storms will intensify just like that. And that's what's going on. So the trend really overall would be for another significant tornadic outbreak across the St. Louis area. Well east of here, again, there's no immediate danger, but I say all of that to tell you this. If you have friends or family that do live in the St. Louis area, you need to call them right now and say, hey, flip on your TV, watch your favorite local...
Right, because it's probably sunny still.
Exactly.
And warm.
Exactly. And really for a lot of these people, it's just a normal spring afternoon. So prepare the 150,000 people that are going to be affected here and tell them to go ahead and keep an eye to the sky here this evening. So.
And we actually have another picture to show you guys. This is a second picture from Ed Bell in Ashland near Route Y. Last time, if you remember, he sent us the image. It looked like it was a child's hands. Now these are adult hands here. That's some pretty big hail. Was that golf ball size? You're the golf master.
No, that's bigger than a golf ball. That's bigger than a golf ball.
So folks are still sending in pictures.
Two-inch size that we saw from the one viewer that sent us in the picture from Ashland. I believe that was Crystal. So.
When you get like, say,
those here. Want to pass along that the tornado warning for Callaway and for Osage County, that has been allowed to expire here. So we still have 2 tornado warnings for Montgomery and also for Gasconade County. Those are set to expire here at 6:30. And our policy is that once tornado warnings are allowed to expire, we'll stay off the air unless there's a very strong immediate threat to life or property here. We still have grapefruit-sized hail. That's a new one. This is southern Osage County here from Rich Fountain back on into Freeburg, and dangerous hail right along, I believe that's Highway 63 that goes if you
area. It's pretty strong.
Right to the west of Herman. If you know of anyone in
right where that little hook is.
Right
in that area.
Actually, right to the south of that, Nick. There you go. That's where we're talking about. Your time is almost up, Herman. If you live in Herman, you need to go ahead and get out your safe shelter emergency plan here and go ahead and seek that. Montgomery City's out of the severe weather threat. High Hill experiencing very, very impressive hail, and that threat continues off into Warrenton, right along I-70 and State Highway 47 there. So tennis ball-sized hail reported at 6:20 on Highway K along the Callaway Montgomery